All right. So, guys, it's week 2. We start week 2 tomorrow. This has been like the best group of my life. When I tell you this was exactly what I needed personally, and I actually got so many moments where I was like, this is what we needed. This is what we needed as a team. And I feel like this is kind of our test group. And as we go through this next, 3 more weeks, we really think about how do we kind of recreate this with other people in our organization that are really invested in their health and their fitness and that are kind of at the point where they need this too. So something to kind of be thinking about. But it's been a great week. We really just sort of focused on the meal planning for the first week and getting in a routine. We all did a little obsessed. I think we can all pretty much say that we hurt in every spot possible. My rear is so sore. And so we said we were going to do 21 Day Fix Extreme for the next 3 weeks, but I know that a little obsessed is going to run again this week, Tuesday through Saturday. So I'll leave it up to you. I'm going to do 21 Day Fix Extreme starting tomorrow because I want to do a whole round of it before the end, just because I want to have that start to end program wise. So that's what I'm going to do. You guys can kind of decide where you want to go with it. We also are doing the sleep challenge. So I'm going to let Katie talk about that real quick, and then I'm going to turn it over to Chris.
Sure, I'll be really quick because I did the post in the group. So if you haven't yet seen it, if you go into our group, it's just a very simple PDF. We want to do a challenge each week because it keeps it, interesting and exciting. But the reason that we're doing it, and I'm just going to share this kind of side story, is Melanie and I have talked at length about how we've both grown our businesses over the past 5-6 years, where we have run ourselves absolutely ragged, like to the point where we have been exhausted, and it has had just a negative impact, on our lives and on our health. And here we are, health coaches, preaching, take care of yourself, and we talk about fitness and nutrition, but we were doing a really crappy job of really taking care of ourselves in terms of rest. So I had told her a couple months ago, I'm actually thinking about taking time off from Beachbody and like actually taking like a little bit of time to focus on my family and focus on, just being present. And what I am finding is that I was not sleeping enough. And I was so tired by the end of the day that from that 3 to 8 window, my kids were getting what was left of me instead of the best of me. And it was really because I'm not sleeping enough. And honestly, like when I realized this, even last week, I was sleeping like 8 hours. I was getting 8 hours of sleep a night, and I felt amazing. And I was able to focus and be present in conversations I was having with challengers. I started making choices instead of doing these voiceovers on the computer with challengers. I started getting on the phone with them and listening to them and hearing their stories and talking about elimination diet. I started talking about yo-yo dieting. I started talking about all of these triggers. So everything we're doing here, I'm hearing them, like I'm listening to them and I'm integrating it in. So it is said that you should be getting 8 hours of sleep. I know some of you guys are new mamas in here and you're looking at me like, I hate you, Katie. And I get it. Like, I really get it. I have been there too. But I really think for us to be the best version of ourselves and the best versions of coaches that we can be, and to show people that we don't need like a quick fix to get stimulated, to get like a quick jolt of energy. Like, we are doing this naturally. And one of the ways that we are doing it is to get more rest. So this week, I showed it to Mel. I am actually putting this into my challenge groups too. I'm doing a 50-hour sleep week challenge. So what I'm going to do is I just put on here, it's on here, and all you're going to do is start tracking how much sleep you actually get. You're going to start noticing if there's patterns to the weeks where you don't get a lot of sleep. And I'm not talking about you watch 2 hours of Stranger Things in your bed before you go to bed and have nightmares. You are like actually going to bed, turning off the phone, turning it all off and going to bed. And your goal is to try to get about 7 hours a night. And then also, when you're resting more, take note. What else are you noticing in your body, in your temperament, in your just energy level at all? Other things that you want to take note of, because everything you document now, you can use in your challenge groups later. So The other thing is too, and this is on a personal note, I tried to find it and I couldn't. Rebecca Lyons is a Christian author, Lyons. And this past fall, she came out with an email series. It was a 10-day email series about rest. And she walks through scriptures and she talks about the power of rest and how you are a better person. And her quote was, you cannot run if you cannot rest. And she gives the comparison to marathon runners too. Like they don't go out there and just run and never rest. They run at pace and they take care of themselves. So just like self-care Sunday that Melanie was talking about, we just need to rest throughout the week too and just be present with our little ones. And I think that's really where we're going to see a difference and being able to be excited about the business too. So Melanie, that's all I got for it. Oh, and use the hashtag too that I put in there. I think I put the hashtag was 50-hour sleep week, I think it was. If we start using that on IG, I'm not saying we should also like hashtag keto, but part of me wants to because I can really be a smart ass like that too. So, but I'm not going to I won't play that game right now.
Oh, I was unmuted. I was giggling.
All right. But I kind of want to.
I know. Well, I'm in for this challenge too. And I can tell you, even just this past week, getting that extra hour a night that I wasn't getting before, I can already tell a big difference. So, so let's really focus on this. I think that will also prevent the burnout that sometimes we end up getting in that season where we're really driving ourselves really hard. So let's focus on that. And Autumn will talk about in 80-Day Obsession, rest is so important, like over and over, because we're building our muscles and they need rest. So this is also a big part of you getting results too and allowing your body to sort of chill. So one of my tips for you guys is I set my alarm at 10 o'clock to go off because it gives me 30 minutes to finish up what I can do to go to bed. So that's really helped me at night too to kind of wind down. So, all right, I don't want to take up too much more time. I want to turn it over to Chris. He was so gracious to give us his time this evening, as we all probably have done Shift Shop. Has everybody in here done the Shift Shop program? Yes, we all did it. We all loved it. I think we all got amazing transformations from it. And his program is awesome. And so he's going to come in here and talk to us a little bit just about that motivation factor. And I'm sure he's got some other things now that he's been listening to us for the past 12 minutes that he's going to share with us. So, Chris, welcome to the call.
Well, hello there. Everybody doing okay? Why everybody looks so sad, man? Everybody just moping, like, smile a little bit. So, what's up, Ronnie? Ronnie lives like 20 minutes from me. So, real quick about the intermittent fasting. Who was she at? Who was that? Who was it? Was it another page? Was it, where you go? Somebody was talking about intermittent fasting. Where'd she go?
That was
there
me.
You go. Leah.
That was me.
So,
yes.
Quick question. So how long have you been doing it?
I tried it seriously, like dedicated this past week. So like 6 days, I would say 6 solid days of it. Yeah.
Okay. Did you drink the bullet coffee?
I did not.
Oh, Leah, this is like
where I went wrong.
You're making it too difficult. So listen, you have to have the bulletproof coffee. Like I do intermittent fasting. I eat from 11 to 7. And I train at 5:30 in the morning with my conditioning class. And then as soon as they leave, I do my second workout at 6:15 to 7. And it's just a weight circuit. And then I have the bulletproof coffee right after, and I eat at 11. And you got to give yourself at least 10 days before you actually start feeling better. You see what I'm saying? But the bulletproof coffee will hold you over until you eat. So you just pick your 8-hour window or whatever strategy you're using, but try to give it at least 10 days, okay? Because you will find.
So do you use MCT oil or do you stick with coconut oil? What do you use?
Yep, I use MCT oil. I mix them up. One day I'll use coconut oil. The other day I'll use MCT oil. But I use coconut oil on my face. So I just try not to like overdo it with the coconut oil. See, when you black, you go back to the berries and juices. So I use the coconut oil on my face. So yeah, I'll use the MCT oil. But I would say just try it for like 10 days. And if you can't find your umph in 10 days, then I say back up out of it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. If you need help, send me a message and I'll help you with it.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So there's no more blacks on this call. Listen, coconut oil is awesome for your face. Use it. All right. Okay. So, you know, one of the things that I want you guys to understand, thank you, buddy. One of the things I want you guys to understand is, like, if you like me, you know, prior to last year, I dealt with like seasonal depression. Like, I really did, just because, you know, when you live on the East Coast, I mean, Melanie will tell you, we get curveballs with the weather, man. And like, you know, how many of you on the East Coast? Raise your hand. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, we're good. What? April through September, summer, October, November hit. We just kind of like got the droop face. We all wear hats. we're just we're in hoodies. We're just uneasy. And I had to really use that as a challenge for me, because I didn't want a season to dictate my happiness. And I knew that, you know, prior to Beachbody, you know, especially through those that little troubles I went through, like the holidays wasn't a great time for me, because I didn't have the money to do what I want to do for my kids. And I was in just a struggling state anyway. And then it was just the holidays of just, you know, what it really represented. And so what I had to learn is, when I was at my lowest, to cultivate that happiness when I didn't have anything, because that's when I realized that you can't put a price tag on love. You can't. You know, when you start doing better financially, sometimes we got to be careful to not let what we can afford take place of love. And I'm a type of person, because of my gifts to empower, love, and inspire other people, like, I like to love with gifts. Like, I love to love with gifts. Like, if I have it, you got it in abundance. But I had to learn at that point, when I didn't have it, like, what did I have to give? And so, you know, it was in that period that I realized that love was the wealthiest thing you can offer somebody. But most importantly, it's the most important thing you can offer to yourself. And so I really used, you know, this time of the year to really cultivate what I wanted to, my mindset going into the new year. This is around that time when I started, like, you know, when I bought those posters, and it was right after Christmas is when I wrote that letter to myself, because that was a dark moment. You see people go through depression. You know, you see people struggle the most during this time of the year. Maybe they lost a loved one. The person is no longer, they're struggling with it because they don't see them on the holidays. But this actually could be the year, the part of the year that can empower you to something so amazing, only if you change the way you look at it, your perception of it. You see what I'm saying? You can't change the situation that happened. What you can do is celebrate the challenge of it, change your perception, and allow it to empower you to become the best you can be. Does that make sense to you? So you may say, well, Chris, that's easy. From your perspective, how do you do it? Well, first and foremost, you know, your biggest cheerleader is always going to be yourself. This is a time where I've seen people put on weight straight up. I've seen people gain 20, 30 pounds from Halloween to New Year's. I've physically watched this even at my gym. And so I started, like, it was a trend. They would get fit, and then Halloween to New Year's, it's like, what happened? I always say what happened, but I said, like, well, what happened? And so I started, like, asking different people, like, just tell me your mindset during that period. And they were like, you know, we got Halloween parties, and then there's Christmas parties, and there's Thanksgiving, and it's the anxiety of shopping and just getting all the holiday rush. And I'm like, dang, that is interesting. So I asked, what was the leading factor in everybody's transition from where they were to where they didn't want to be? And you know what the common factor was? Anxiety. It was anxiety. I really processed this, like, wait a minute. Okay, so really break it down, because I'm a very intuitive person and I love to think. Okay, so it's not the depression, it's anxiety. How is anxiety controlling this? Okay, look at the energy. As everybody know, anxiety is energy. It's just negative energy. So around this time of the year, what happens? Everything's a sense of urgency. Everyone's rushing. Families are arguing about who's bringing this to Thanksgiving, or how we're going to afford this, or not only that, someone's trying to outdo somebody, or it's a bunch of negative energy that creates anxiety. When it creates anxiety, what does it do? The same thing Mel just said. Just like I had a problem with sugar, y'all. It would just increase my sugar intake because I was anxiety and I wanted to feel good. I felt like sugar was calming me down. What it was doing was making me hyper. The sugar intake I was having was matching the intensity of the anxiety. Boom, and then I would crash from the sugar rush, right? So I started realizing that anxiety was actually leading all of this. And then you start looking at the anxiety of the circle of the people around you. All of a sudden, this time of the year, people are the meanest. There's more road rage. There's just more competitive boasting. You got people standing in line for hours for a toy, and then you're arguing, and then they open the door and people are rushing in the store off and rushing to the same toy, bumping each other. There's anger, there's animosity, all this negative stuff, all derived from anxiety. Right? So I started thinking to myself, man, that's crazy. Like, this weight was brought on to be a stress reliever when it should have been a moment of celebrating this moment. Celebrating, I had a rough year this year. Woo! Now I get to focus on love, because this is the time of the year where you bring your families together. This is the time of the year where you celebrate your kids, celebrate your spouses, celebrate your in-laws, celebrate your everything that represents the holidays, right? So you say, well, what if you didn't have that kind of year? What if you had a divorce? What if you had, your marriage is on the rocks or your relationship on the rocks? Guess what? Celebrate that too. You know why I'm asking you to celebrate it? Because allow it to reinvent you of what you don't want, or take control of what and create what you do want going into the new year. So then I start thinking, okay, well, why does it change when people say, why is the ball dropping have anything to do with changing your mindset? I don't watch that ball drop in front of me consciously 35 sometimes every year, and I've still made the same mistakes every year. So it has nothing to do with the ball dropping. It has everything to do with my mindset. You see what I'm saying? So I start thinking, I got 2 years of anxiety that I think is going to change over me dropping a ball for a new year? No, I got to go back to where the anxiety first start, and I got to be conscious of that moment from Halloween to the end of the year. I got to control that space. I got to control my identity, not allow the identity of the world, of the people, to shape who I become. I can't take on their anxiety. I got to stay in control. So you say, well, what does that have to do with my business? It has a lot to do with your business. You know why? Because you guys are leaders. Some of you had a tough year. Celebrate it. Some of you had a great year. Celebrate that. But most importantly, this is shaping and molding you to become the coach you've ever desired to be. If it was always a good time, guess what? You wouldn't have a good story. You need this struggle moment is shaping your story, guys. Look what my story did for me. Your struggle, your even if it's your relationship, if it's your business, if it's your weight, man, this is shaping your story. Take this time right now, over the next we got 6, 8, 7 weeks. Take this next 6 to 8 weeks you already doing an elimination diet. You eliminating your body, now eliminate your mind. Eliminate your mind of all the negative thoughts, all the tormenting thoughts, all the things that ever held you back, all the things that was ever said to you. Eliminate that too, because guess what? You can eliminate your body all you want, guys. You can detox your body all you want, but if you don't change your mind, you're going to be toxic all over again. It's got to be a 1-2 punch. Eliminate your mind and eliminate your body. Because when you eliminate your body, that's everlasting. That'll take you to a great place. If you eliminate your body, guess what? If your mind is still stuck in that same situation, you're just going to attract all that same stuff back to you. So if your mind isn't conscious of anxiety and overcoming anxiety, then guess what? As soon as you hit another crisis or hit a tough spot, that anxiety is going to surface. You're going to go back to the same place you are right now. So let this be a challenge. You guys are strong. You're strong women. You're strong. Stand up on the inside right now. Take control of your identity right now. There's nothing wrong with modifying workouts. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. If somebody tell you it is, that's ego. That's their problem. Don't even compete with that. Your only competition is always going to be yourself. Take this moment right now. What did you accomplish the first 10 months of this year? Write it down. If you didn't fulfill areas, guess what? Celebrate it. It took you 10 months to never make that decision, that same mistake again. How powerful is that? It's a win-win. You consciously said, I didn't actively participate with my challengers and with my team the way I should have. Guess what? What if you would have never realized that? You would have did it next year, and you would have did it next year. And a year after that, your team would have begun to disappear. Then all of a sudden, you would have hated Beachbody. This doesn't work. You can't blame Beachbody. You got to blame you. You see what I'm saying? So I look at this situation. I just said it at one of the events. So my program is the first program without an infomercial. Like the infomercial did huge for everybody else because it reached the people who are in the network. It reached the celebrities. It reached that. So because of no one really watches television anymore, it was just a waste of money to make a Shift Shop infomercial, even though I felt like, no, like I'm the person you need to put on TV. Like that's my gift, is being in front of the camera. I start thinking like, no, nothing to this point in my life has been easy. So why am I going to rely on an infomercial? I created a letter that would create my life. So I'm going to create another lane that's just as good, if not better than an infomercial. You see what I'm saying? Having an infomercial actually limits me because now I'm putting my faith in the infomercial instead of not faith in my purpose. My purpose is way bigger than an infomercial. How creative can I really be with this program, guys? How creative can I really be with it? That's what I got to find out. I could be a trendsetter. All the strategies to becoming the best coach you can be, you're trendsetters. You got the number one coach in the company. It can't get no better than that. I'm not trying to, put her on blast, but I'm serious. Like, you getting the best of the best. It's like Scottie Pippen playing with Michael Jordan. It's like, what more do you want? Inside of you, inside of each and every one of you is something that resonates with Melanie, or she wouldn't be your coach. So what you do is you take a little bit of what she has, you add it to your genius, and you create your own lane. And then guess what? You guys are going to be sitting in the same place, feeding your sheep. But you can't feed your sheep if you don't feed yourself. So you got to go through this transition, this period right now, just so you can really hone in your identity so you can tell your story. Your story's powerful. I'm looking at all you women right now, like it's almost lightweight intimidating. Like, damn, if all these women get a glimpse of their potential, the fella's going to have to step it up. Like, I'm serious. Like, it's scary to see so many women empowered, man. I was talking to Millie's husband in Vegas. Like, I told the folks, we got to do something. I got to create an all men's program. Even if we just do push-ups, we got to do something. The chicks look better than us. For real. Things is changing. Like, y'all's mindset is way stronger than men. I done seen so many men in Beachbody with estrogen problems. I don't know what to do with myself. Y'all got more testosterone than some of the men. I'm being straight up. You guys are mentally stronger mentally, stronger emotionally. You damn sure look stronger physically. I done seen more abs in women than I've ever seen in my life. It's freaking me out. I almost think some of y'all taking the needle. I'm joking. But no, my whole point to it is this, like, you're powerful people. You're powerful people. You can't have a problem. You cannot have a problem if you really want to fulfill your purpose. You need these problems. These problems are good for you. It's all about how you perceive it. Everything in your life is good. Even if it looks bad, it's really good. What's the big picture behind that? What is the big picture behind it? Some of you have had babies this year. Man, that's a celebration in itself. Like, I'm super excited to see how the company's transitioning, to how everyone's going to transition. Like, I'm telling you, I had a vision of this stuff, guys. We are on to something that's magical. I mean, I had a talk with Carl, like a text with Carl the other day. Magical, like something so big is about to happen in this company. And it's funny that everybody, including myself, is feeling the same way. The key is identifying, why do I feel this way? Well, guess what? It's your greatness calling you. It's your dreams calling you. How many times have you hit decline when your dreams called you? That yearning, that tugging you feel in your spirit, that's your dreams calling you. There's a detachment. There's a detachment from your physical body to your purpose. Your purpose is edifying. It's all power. It's all knowing. It's unlimited, untapped potential. And it's going, but you're stuck. And it's like, come on. So that yearning, that tugging you're feeling is your purpose saying, come with me. Go back inside. What is your why? Why did you even start this business? What was your why? Have you lost it, or are you just blinded from it? Are you distracted? Think about it. Think about it. You guys you're in a great place. This is the best place to be, because once you overcome this, guess what? What's going to stop you? Once you realize that you got 100% control of right now, and you take this and create the life you want, you're going to be unstoppable. There's nothing that can stop you. You need this moment. Reinvent yourself. Change your change your cosmetics, change your hair, change your body, change the way you view things. I'm growing hair on my face. I'm reinventing myself. This is the most hair I ever had on my face, ever. But first I was kind of weird about it. Like, no, dude, I ain't doing that. People said, that's a good look on you, Chris. I'm thinking, you know what? For my next project, I want to be different. Like, I want to look different. I need to reflect, shift. What does it mean to really shift? I got to shift my body, my mind, my motivation, my outlook. I got to shift everything. Second project, it's got to blow shift out the water. Has to. But I'm going to be a different person. I'm already a different person. So my challenge to you is, if you're tired of right now, change it. Change something. You can't. It's so much harder to change your place when you don't change what you see every day. What I mean by that is, if I'm on a quest to really take myself to the next level, I had to do something different. Like, I had to grow hair on my face, just so when I look in the mirror, I feel something, or I see something different as I'm changing my body. Because we all know it takes a long time to change your body. Those quick fixes don't work. You don't have to dye your hair, curl it, do something different. Expand yourself a little bit, because listen, when you start expanding yourself and not be complacent and get out of just being the same old person every day, when you expand just the slightest thing about yourself, guess what happens? Your creativity's got to match that expansion. You're suppressing it. You're suppressing your genius because you're staying the same. You're doing the same stuff over and over again. You got to change it. Change something. I'm gonna leave it. I got like 30 minutes. So you want to ask some questions? Whatever I can do to help you, let's open it up.
I love it. Thank you. All right. So questions that you guys have for Chris, and what kind of stuck out to you? Is there any like aha moments or things that he just kind of went through that you were like, that really struck a chord? If you guys want to unmute or you want to ask questions, like, now is the time to do it. So go for it.
Hey, Chris, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
It's Sarah. Thanks so much for doing this call. I love it. So I want to ask you, what did you do whenever you were going through your own anxiety and depression, aside from exercising and watching what you were eating? What else really helped you?
It was that ladder, man. I'm telling you the honest goodness truth. Like, there's something about confessing or writing what's in your mind on a piece of paper. I still don't understand the science behind it, but it works. There's something about getting your thoughts out on paper. And when I was desperate. Like, my desperate didn't change. So I was in that desperate state. Like, I desperately needed to change. So I was so disciplined with reading this letter to myself that I wrote, that was basically what I wanted my life to be. Now that my life is converted to that, I got a whole new set of goals. So now my desperate is no longer a desperate for survival, but a desperate to love and empower you guys even more. It's still the same thing. I just shifted to a different lane with a different purpose. So I would say it has to be that daily ledger of confessing to yourself what you want. Because if you don't, life's going to confess to you what you get. So you might as well. What do you have to lose?
I agree. And that was one of our things that we were doing too, is journaling every single day, like how we feel, how our food was making us feel, how our workouts, all of that stuff. So that's definitely something we've been working on. the battle in the head of I want these goals versus who cares leads to eating. So a lot of things just like eating and food related, like emotions. Do you have any sort of suggestions on that?
Yeah, emotions is powerful because it's just, so it's a two-part thing. So the emotions are going to be there because we're human beings, right? I started playing games with myself and tricks with myself. I already know what happens when my physical situation, I emotionally connect to it. I just give it power. I edify, I give it power. I give it, if it's a negative situation and I emotionally connect with it, I just made it so much bigger than what it is. So what I did is I channeled my emotions to what I wanted. And I'm telling you, like, if you I tell you what, I got a challenge for you this week. As soon as you get down, immediately I just want you to stop and start praising. Stop and just start talking about how amazing your life is and start smiling about it. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy. This is the best days of my life. I dare you to connect to that emotion. I guarantee you, as soon as you stop, a peace is going to overcome you. And you're going to be like, whoa, confessions are so powerful. So powerful. And only an emotion cannot live without a confession. I'm going to say it again. An emotion cannot live without a confession. If it's a negative affection, a negative confession to that emotion, it has a heartbeat. If it's a positive confession to that emotion, it has a heartbeat. You determine what thought, what emotion has a heartbeat in your life by what you say, what you think, and what you do. Because you got to complement that. That one?
I have one. I'll ask. So Melissa McAllister was on our call last week. And so she really taught us the intermittent fasting and kind of helped. So a lot of us are trying to do like intermittent fasting but following the container. So we're in line with Beachbody. So we're like really trying to make this work. And so question, do you count like your MCT oil and your butter that you put in your coffee, your bulletproof coffee as part of your like your good fats, your spoons for the day, or is that extra?
You know what? It's extra because I almost ate one of my kids last week. I'm just serious. Like, I'm just telling you the truth. Like, I'm being honest. Like it's extra, but it doesn't affect you. It doesn't. Like, guys, the containers are great, but at the end of the day, you got to function. And it really is extra. And when I started realizing, like, the more I dug into it, like, once I like stuck to the extra with the meals in the containers, I started not being able to get my food in because my stomach started shrinking. You see what I'm saying? So in the beginning, eat, man. And you got that window, scarf it down, and you're going to chew up one of your kids or something. Dead serious. You gotta eat it.
All right. How much MCT oil are you putting in? Like, I've been doing a tablespoon and then a tablespoon of like the ghee butter, but it says on the container like up to 3 tablespoons. So like where?
Yeah, I did. The first day I did 3 and I was uncomfortable. so I cut down to like, I did a process of elimination. I found my happy space is around a teaspoon, maybe like a teaspoon and a quarter. Like, other than that, I'm a hot mess express.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then somebody was saying that they can't have coconut oil. Is there something else you can do instead of that?
Avocado oil is good. That's high in fat. What's that? Is that other oil? The grass. You guys ever heard of grass-fed butter?
Uh-huh.
That's really good. So you have that as an option. I usually bounce around between coconut oil and avocado oil.
Okay. That's good to know.
Along with the MCT oil, but
yeah.
It just in those.
So there are a few people that are instructors in here too. So like, how should they be adjusting even their nutrition based on instructing too?
Oh, it's amazing. You don't adjust anything. You just go in. Because you just go in. Like, once you get to a point where your body is seriously using stored fat for energy, you'd be surprised. Like, sometimes even as an instructor, like we are conscious of, the limits that we perceive as a limitation. Really, it's not. I would say just use your spirit, because once you get over that hump, you're going to have more energy anyway. That food is not stopping you as an instructor. I'm telling you that right now. It's not. It's a mental thing.
And it's more quality. Like it's just quality over. So do you do the carbs and the fruits, or do you like, what does kind of a typical day look like?
So I have I got a problem. Like I don't taste my food. I just eat it. So I'm trying to learn how to taste it. So for example, I'll have the bulletproof coffee in the morning. My first meal is salmon, spicy salmon with cauliflower rice. And then I have asparagus and pulled chicken. And then, so I'll eat those 2 meals back because I don't eat beef. So I'll eat those 2 meals back in probably like twice. And then here's another thing that's so key, like listening to your body. You ever listen to your body and it says, I want an apple, and you eat that apple and your body just goes, a state of calm. I'll go as long as I can without fruit until my body says, I want blueberries, I want an apple. And every time I follow that, something miraculous happened with my body. I think it boils down to, with the whole intermittent fasting thing, everybody's body's different. Everybody metabolize things differently. So you got to it's a good time to really get to know your body. Honeycrisp apples, incredible intermittent fasting. I just sold that apple, by the way. But anyway, Honeycrisp apples, man, they just seem to hit that spot. They're juicy and they just fill you up for a nice period of time. So yeah, listen to your body.
Agreed. Other questions?
Well, we've kind of been debating back and forth whether bulletproof coffee breaks your fast or not. So you kind of go by the rule that bulletproof coffee does not break your fast. You use it to kind of tide yourself over until you actually eat your first meal, right?
I want my who study intermittent fasting and the ketogenic diet. Like he has a degree in this crap. And so I went to him because I was conflicted. I heard it broke the fast, and then I heard it didn't. So I just went to him. I said, man, he said, dude, bulletproof coffee is your best friend. It's the best thing you can have for yourself. And I just went with it, and I haven't had one problem. So also keep in mind, like, there's those fanatics out there that, again, it all goes to that anxiety of the cares of life. There's always going to be that group of people that has to do it harder than everybody else. It ain't got to be that hard. Like, you got to do it works for you. Like, you don't, if someone says, I'm down to a 4-hour eating window, congratulations. Now you're going to look like the Ethiopians and have a big belly from starving yourself because your body going to go in starvation mode. Congratulations, buddy. You know what I'm saying? Like, do what makes you happy, man. Just stick in that bracket, but listen to your body. I'm sorry, I'm full of jokes.
How are you mixing your bulletproof coffee then? Because, like Melanie was saying, like, and I've been doing like a tablespoon and a tablespoon, but then you mentioned a teaspoon. So how are you mixing that?
So I got this little thing, right? I'm like not the fix-it guy. So I go to Bed Bath. I'm all excited because I'm about to really do this thing right. So I get the little thing. You push the button before I destroy my kitchen. So I put a little bit in at a time. I put the oils in the coffee, and I get the oil, the coconut oil mixed up really good. And then I add everything else and I mix it up. But I got to make sure like everything is evenly dispersed in the cup just so it all sits right. And I'm telling you, when I put the right ingredients in the proper measurements, every single time.
So you're doing like a tablespoon of MCT and a tablespoon, or you doing
I do a
that?
tablespoon of MCT. I do a tablespoon of MCT oil, and I'll do like a half a tablespoon of coconut oil on top of it. Yeah, or I'll do a couple, depending on what I'm feeling at that time. But it's usually like a half a tablespoon of coconut oil.
And
my
then
fats are high.
How much sleep are you getting a night? Like, when are you going to bed, and how much sleep are you getting?
All right, so I got slapped in the mouth big time. You guys almost made me feel insecure for a minute doing this 50-hour week sleep challenge. So in Vegas last week, I got sick because I'm allergic to cigarette smoke. And so like Thursday night, my face swelled up and I was busted up. And by Friday, I was a hot mess. Saturday, I don't even know how I got through the workout, but I did. But I got really sick, so I had to sit it down. So in the last 2 days, I got 22 hours of sleep. And man, I had to it was an aha moment. Like, dude, you are running yourself in the ground. Like, you need to sleep, because I was just feeling like foggy brain. I was forgetting people's name that I see on a regular. And I had a person come up to me at the mall, was like, yo, Chris, what's going on? And I had one of my buddies with me, and I just said, oh, yeah, this is my boy from back in the day. I didn't even remember his name. I said, you got to go to sleep. So I couldn't even remember the dude's name. I was like, oh, I'm tripping. So, yeah, I have to say that's definitely because of lack of sleep. So I'm gonna try that 50-hour a week. You guys you motivated me to try that. So I'm going to do it.
Awesome.
In terms of the intermittent fasting, because I haven't actually approached this yet, I feel like I don't know if I'm really there yet. Do you suggest that most of us try it and start it, or if you feel good with your diet and with your body and your progression, maybe hold off?
I'm going to tell you the honest to goodness truth. The physical results you get from intermittent fasting is unbelievable, man. I'm telling you. So when I met with my buddy, he explained to me how, like, when you in that fasting state, like, old cells get pushed out and then new cells rejuvenate, like you create new cells in your body. And I started thinking, like, wow. And what really got me, it was like how first thing in the morning, like, my mind was so sharp. Like, it was really, really sharp. So I would say play with it a little bit, like, come up with your own schedule before you get into, like, the common schedules. Do a 12 and find what works for your life, your lifestyle, and try that. But you got to give it at least 10 days before you can really say, okay, I can feel the difference. But I'm telling you right now, you're gonna get shredded on that, man. You're gonna get lean for sure. It's guaranteed.
I have a question, because I don't do coffee. Like, I don't like coffee. I have no desire to drink coffee. So what else? Like, can I just eat an avocado? Will that do the same difference?
Pray.
I don't want to do it. And I did it, like, I played around with it the last few days, and I can fast, but I feel like my brain function's probably not ideal. And I don't like hot drinks. So, like, the idea of doing, I'm picky, but the idea of doing, like, a hot tea and melting the oil just to me would make me gag.
So you want to go in gorilla mode real quick? This is what you could do. Why don't you just go in gorilla mode? Take the tablespoon, put it in your mouth, chase it cold tea. That's an option. But,
I was just curious if there was like I'd rather just eat like avocado. Could that work? Yeah.
The avocado, honestly, the only reason why I even use the bullet coffee, because first of all, I don't want to get it on my teeth, so I suck it through a straw. I just suck it down real quick. But I do it mainly for energy, because you got to figure I've already had those 2 trainings before. After those second training, I'm like tired. But the green tea is awesome. Like, you can do iced green tea, and nothing wrong with that. It's more the caffeine than anything. But if it's not an energy thing for you, why not have it? Why not? Why not have an avocado?
Okay, because that's what I do. I drink iced green tea every morning. So if I just did like some avocado with it, that could essentially serve the same purpose by combining the 2.
Yeah. So the only thing with the whole point of when I met with my buddy is the chewing. Like, you gotta have, like, during that fasted state, you can't chew. You gotta swallow, because when you chew, that activates everything internally. So just take the avocado and just swallow it. But if you just told me to do that, just let it slide down your throat. You want to avoid chewing during your fasted state, because when you chew, just like if you're chewing gum, most of us get a big belly because we're just chewing in air. You see what I'm saying? That gets everything rolling when you start chewing.
Thank you.
That makes sense? Okay. Just want to make sure it's in like Comedy Central or anything. Any other questions?
Farron, what do you mean by your question? Maybe unmute that one.
I did not want to, like, talking to Chris Downing is like my heart right now is like, oh my God, I'm sweating. But Now I just don't even want to talk. I was saying, if to do the intermittent fasting, do we have to do this coffee oil thing, or can we just wait? Like, cause we don't have to, cause I can wait like till 11. I feel with kids, I like forget to even eat sometimes.
Listen, that I think for me, the coffee is just like a treat. If you don't need it, that's even better, because your body's it's just gonna transition. I just have it because I had that second training. I'm like, but yeah, because I didn't understand what I was doing. Like, he had to tell me I was breaking my fast with hydrate and didn't even know it. I had no idea. I was breaking it with hydrate. I'm like, he was like, dude, you're this is wrong. So how was it wrong? He said, bro, turn over the container. Said, look at how you can't have hydrate during this. I'm like, what are you talking about? But I was breaking my fast with hydrate and didn't even know it. Had no idea. It's too many carbs.
What about Energize? You won't be my friend anymore if you tell me I can't have Energize.
Energize, he told me if you drink like a shot, chug it.
Wait, say that again.
He said, if you need Energize, he said, because Energize is technically no different than the sugar in it isn't as bad as the sugar with intermittent fasting as the hydrate. He said, drink it like a shot. Like he said, half of it, drink it like a shot, be done with it. He said, don't dilute it. Don't. He said, just enough for a shot and just chug it. That's it. But yeah, I was drinking energy. I'm all excited, drinking hydrate. He's like, you're breaking your fast. Like, no, I'm not. You're breaking your fast.
Is that the same thing with Recover too then?
Yep. Yeah, it is.
But if we do an afternoon workout and we've already had our first meal, then we can have Energize, Hydrate, and Recover because it's within the hour.
Yep, you're in that bracket. Yep, you're in that bracket. You can have it afterwards all day long. In fact, they encourage you to, after your workout, to eat most of your carbs right then and there, right afterwards.
All right. Might have to work out at a different time of the day. This is really hard.
Hey, Chris, I'm really glad to be having you on the call. This has been a lot of great information. Is there a way that you can do the intermittent fasting at the end of the day instead of the morning? I mean, like everyone's saying, I work out in the morning. I'm also a triathlete, so sometimes I have 2-hour sessions that I can't do at night. Can you stick the intermittent fasting to the end of your day?
Oh, that's a good one. I think it really boils down to your lifestyle. Like you can really, when you mean end of the day, like what do you mean?
Like you stop eating earlier in the day.
Oh, okay. So you would start earlier. So I tried to do it at like 6 o'clock. Stop eating at 6. And for me, I really struggled with that because my conditioning classes, my last one is at 6. And so at 7 o'clock, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm hungry. So right. If being a triathlon, you just made me feel like a punk because your training is actually harder than mine. You stop eating early. Dang, that's a challenge. Yeah. I mean, if that works for you, absolutely. Roll with that. Man, that was good. That's really good.
Well, all right. Thanks.
Good point. That's awesome.
All right, Paula's asked this question like 3 times. She wants to know what you eat the rest of the day. Because I think you just went through like the breakfast part or the lunch part. What about like the end of the day?
So the end of the day is, please don't follow my lead on this. I'm like, I eat the same stuff over and over again. Like at night, my last meal is usually an avocado because I just love avocado. And then you guys ever heard of bone broth protein?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That with an avocado is a dream come true.
Wow. So your fat is like through the roof, like fat intake.
Yes, it sure is. I love it.
I'm like that too. I always go over in my good fats and So Yeah.
I struggle with protein so bad. I struggle with it. I really do.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. So I loved in Shift Shop how you tapered the carbs down, each week just to kind of change things up. Like I thought that was brilliant because it's, just to change things up, kind of shock your body a little. So if you had to use the containers to make a higher fat plan, like how would that kind of work? Because like we said, we always go over in Blues, we always go over on Spoons, but like we like to eat higher fat, and we know now since the containers were made that it's good for you. So like how could we kind of reconfigure that? Or could you do that for us?
What I did, this was one of the hardest things with the meal plan that in the beginning I struggled with, because I really believe in the high fat, like the low carb diet. Like I really believe in the high fats. I really truly do. And it just was unrealistic to the world to present that with Shift Shop, because not everyone believes in it until you really go through to understand the benefits of it. So I had to generalize everything. But for me, what I did was I started adding an extra teaspoon of coconut oil to all my meals, man. I put it, every meal got a little bit of coconut oil with it. And I had to, because that's the only way I could really function, because I'm so used to it. So I would say add the fats, man. Add it. Don't worry about overdoing it, because you realize how much fat you really have to consume to overdo it. It's a lot. Like you wouldn't even be able to overdo it if you wanted to.
Okay, so is all fats created equal? So is like almond butter and peanut butter the same as eating coconut oil?
I think it's more of like coconut, like peanut butter doesn't do well for my body. My body don't respond to it well. I think once you find what works for your body, you got to roll with that. Like almond butter, I'm okay with it here and there, but coconut oil just seems to do best by my body. I don't know why. I just never had peanut butter bloats me for some reason. It really does. So I don't really know that answer. I know cashew butter is good. That's another option. But then I couldn't understand why when I would eat like a handful of cashews, my ankles would swell. Anything on the bottom. Here, I'm allergic to it. Like, oh, great. I don't walk around here with elephantitis and don't even realize it. You know why? Because I have coconut oil. Eating cashews. So you got to find which one. And then another thing that will help you big time is everybody in this group know your blood type. That is crucial to any nutrition you do. If you know your blood type or you don't know it, figure it out. Structure your intermittent fasting around your blood type night and day. Promise you. I promise. Because it'll tell you what your body benefits well, what's moderate, do not have. And you structure your meals around that, you in there.
All right, Chris, I struggle with that because, well, you know that I'm vegan, so I'm O negative. So they say O negative, like you should be eating a ton of meat, right? Or maybe you don't even know that, but everything I've ever read about O negative blood type says like you shouldn't be a vegetarian when you like need all that protein and all that meat. So how do you structure around that then?
O negative? I never heard of that. I mean, I've heard of O negative blood type. I don't know what they can eat. That's interesting. So yes. It says you should have a lot of protein.
Well, a lot of meat, actually. It says that your body doesn't do well on a vegetarian diet. Wow. Which I think that's interesting because some conversations that we've had, like I do notice my body actually does better when I eat the meat. It's just my skin and from the meat and the dairy that's where like the problems come in. So I don't know. So that's just why I feel like I struggle so much.
So when you texted me 2 weeks ago and you was telling me like where I think you struggle with is you don't eat enough at all. I've seen you. You're tiny. So I don't think it's like the allergies. There's so much good meat out there. I think you need to change the meat you're eating. That's just my personal opinion. Because if you're having breakouts, maybe it's the quality of the meat that you're eating. For example, what about bison? Have you ever had bison?
No.
I'm telling you, man, bison, when I was eating the only reason why I stopped eating red meat because my aunt got crazy on me about it because my uncle had a heart problem. And so she's real anal about me eating red meat. But when I used to eat bison, like that bison really satisfied me. And it's expensive, but it was a difference when I ate bison than when I ate ground beef. Huge difference. So I think maybe if you implement it, because remember you said when you ate a little bit of meat, you start feeling better. I think it's the quality of meat. And the dairy, I'm lactose, so I can't have dairy at all. And you can't either.
Okay.
All right. Any last questions?
Yeah, I have one last question. Can you guys hear me? I have like my headphones in. Okay, so you were talking before about how like you're saying like when your body says eat an apple, like you listen to your body. Okay. Well, my body or my mind half the time tells me to go eat like a chocolate chip cookie. So how do you like how do you like learn to listen to your body? Like what, or did you take foods out and then figure out what you wanted to eat more of, or how I don't know, I guess if that makes sense. Like how do you figure out what your body really like needs or craves?
Like, I want to hug you right now. That was awesome. So let me break this down to you. So you remember like when we was kids and like we watched cartoons like Johnny Bravo or something, and like the cartoon has the evil right here and the angel right here and you in the middle, you listening to it. So, you know, the little evil part pops up and said, I want you to have a chocolate chip cookie. That's what I want you to have. And the angel part says, eat the apple. Then you got to do a process of elimination. Which one loves you back the most, the chocolate chip cookie or the apple? When you look in the mirror, does the apple say, I love you, or and you like what you eat, or the chocolate cookie that it has on you? That's easy. Break that down to like, which one is loving you back? Because you got to figure as humans, we got desires for all kind of things, but is that desire empowering you to be the best you can be? How do you feel after you eat that cookie? And actually ask yourself this question: what energy are you surrounded by in your thoughts that attracted that cookie? Was it anxiety? Was it love? And I'm not saying not have a cookie. Eat a cookie if you want to eat a cookie. I'm just saying at that time where you crave that cookie, what is going on around you? That'll answer that question right then and there. If you're having a rough day, you're struggling, depressed, and the cookie pops in your head, like, I don't want the cookie. But if you're in a good mood and you just out, you super fit, feeling good about yourself, I want a damn cookie. Man, eat the cookie. Eat the cookie. Celebrate the cookie. It all boils down to the moment and what that moment entails when it comes to desire that cookie. I just talked about a cookie. Sorry.
Thank you. No, I appreciate it. I know I'm a stress eater, but I also know like I think it's hard. Like in the group, watching people going like, I said no to this. Like I get that, but it's like I also want to live a life where I'm like, okay, if I want a cookie, like I want to have a cookie. So I think it is listening to that, like, you know, the emotional state of when you want that. And thank you too for creating Shift Shop, because that's one of the first programs I actually really stuck to in a long time, and I lost like 10 pounds and it was amazing. So it's a phenomenal program. Thank you.
If you like Shift Shop, you're gonna like the next one. Ooh, wait.
That's awesome. I think you need to talk them into doing something with intermittent fasting, because I think that would be like the icing on the cake. I really do. I
really do believe in it, guys. I just, again, like, I firmly believe in like holding people's hand. Mm-hmm. There's some fanatics out there. I got some people to go to my gym. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm a strong-minded, strong-willed person, but their intermittent fasting schedule, I ain't ever doing nothing like that. That is abuse. And I don't want nothing to do with it. It's like, why are you doing that? Why you going all your food in 4 hours? That's stupid. Like, are you proud of yourself? You want me to make you a trophy? That's dumb. You're starving yourself. But it's like, you got to do, and that's, you got to be careful. Keep on. Everybody has a lane. And in everybody's lane, we got to fulfill our own. Don't get to a point where you're competing with people, man, because they'll take you off a cliff. Intermittent fasting, find your schedule. Do a process of elimination with that. Start out with like a 12-hour window of eating. Cut it down. Try that for a week. cut down to 10, try that for a week, cut down to 8, stay at 8 for 3-4 weeks, play with it a little bit, find your niche, find your comfort zone with it. But I promise you, intermittent fasting is where it's at. And I'm going to go to Carl. I'm doing a little study right now before we start this new stuff next year. I got to go. I have to have intermittent fasting in this next program, man. I have to. It's just my soul is crying for it. But again, I gotta convince Head Hacho, like, we got to do this. But I gotta go to him with facts. Like, this is what happened, and this is the different types of people who did this. So they can't say was all the fit people. Nope. Here's this person, this grouping did an 8-hour window, this grouping did a 10-hour window, and this was the workouts we did in that time frame. Here's the results.
Yeah.
Period.
Feel free to use us. We'd be happy to be your test group subjects anytime. So if you need us, we're already assembled.
When are you guys starting? When are you starting yours?
Oh, so we started last week so this elimination plan, it kind of morphed. I think it actually morphed. It was not meant, we did not market this as intermittent fasting, but then as we got into it, everybody sort of has been, so we've kind of been like, I would say tomorrow would be week 1 of really focusing on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So eliminate the hydrate in the morning and either go to the bullet coffee or the green tea if you need it. But like, trust me, I'm telling you, man, this is amazing. Watch with it, especially you guys are adding the sleep to it. That's the only thing I'm missing is the sleep. I'm telling you. I got those 22 hours of sleep in 2 days. I woke up, I saw abs and I forgot I had. Was lean out all because I went to sleep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's it.
All right. So we're going to journal this for you, and then we're going to give you all of our findings over the next month, and we'll share it with you, and then you can take
Chris, and I messaged you to the PDF for the the 50-hour sleep week challenge.
You did? Okay. Which one did you send it to?
It's probably in your filter. Just that bad boy.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Perfect. All right.
All right,
So
guys.
thank you so much, Chris, for your time. We really, really appreciate it. You gave us such great knowledge, and we're excited to start week 2 and keep crushing it. So everybody is very just all in. And the one thing about the cookie thing, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think that the point of this is to kind of get all of the things we've been, like, all of the crap out of our body over the next 30 days. And then, then we kind of go into maintenance mode. I mean, do you agree with that, Chris? Like, you kind of go cold turkey, you get things kind of out of the way, you figure out what your triggers are. And then the whole, like, I eat the cookie, now I'm at a maintenance point. Like, that's when you start to make those decisions, right?
Right. One thing I forgot to tell you, I'm so glad you brought that up. You guys really want to get some crazy results? Drink 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar before you go to sleep. Chug it. Man, I'm telling you, the benefits of apple cider vinegar while you're sleeping, unreal. That's all. I ain't saying nothing else. We're going to follow up in a month for everybody who did it every night before they went to bed, and it's going to be a clear difference between what you've been doing and where you are. Shot at. Make sure it's Bragg's. Make sure it's got the little mother at the bottom of it. But make sure it's Bragg's. And I'm not gonna say nothing else.
And just you don't mix it with anything. You just shoot it.
Take it on the chin, pound your chest.
All right, I'm gonna do it for you, Chris.
All right, guys, I'm out here. See you
right,
later.
Thank you. Good night. All right, guys, hang out. We're gonna take a quick picture and then we'll go. Chris, he's already gone. Yay! All right, yeah, it was 2 tablespoons. 2 tablespoons of that. Oh, that's gonna hurt so bad. We can do hard things, right? Okay, everybody smile. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, wait, we gotta do one more because there's 2 pages. Okay, one more. And you don't know if you're on the first or second, so you have to smile twice. 1, 2, 3. All right, anything else? Any follow-up thoughts, questions, things we need to talk about, things that aren't clear?
I have a question.
Sure.
So has anybody, I'm doing Countdown to Competition. I've been following it religiously for the last week, which is also why I packed all my food in this hotel room. But has anybody tried intermittent fasting with countdown to competition? Because 2 days, it's like 2 days of very, very strict, third day, 21-day fixed extreme regular diet, back to 2 days very strict. The 2 days that are very strict, there's literally no fat. So I'm wondering if anybody's done intermittent fasting with this, and if so, how'd you start? Was it Bulletproof Coffee? And then if not, it's fine.
I saw Julia raise her hand. I don't know if she's.
Yeah, I've only done 1 day of it because I was doing just 21-day fixed extreme and then starting countdown to competition. So I started that just for 1 day. So, I mean, now starting tomorrow I'll be following that calendar. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to roll with it and see what happens. So intermittent fasting is effective whether you're eating high fat or not. You know, so even though it's no fat really is what that is. That's okay. You're still going to get the benefits of the fasting in your body, you know, releasing the old cells, rejuvenating the new cells like he was saying. So I think people were kind of getting confused that you have to eat high fat if you're doing intermittent fasting, and they're two separate things. They work very well together, but they're two separate things.
Yeah, I think I'm interested in eventually putting more fat into my diet, but just to start, I'd like to start the intermittent fasting and then get through this, you know, countdown to competition, and then actually do that stuff that he was saying with the higher fat. So
yeah, like he said, just kind of take note of when you start eating and when you stop eating. Like most people are probably on a 12-hour fast anyway. That's pretty, I mean, it's not hard.
Right.
So just start there. And it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions, thoughts? We all have to go to bed. Those of us that are East Coasters, it's like 15 minutes. All right, guys, go drink your apple cider vinegar and hit the sack, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early for week 2. It's been awesome. Love you guys. So proud of you all. I hope you guys have a great night. See you guys later. Bye.